Hey guys, it's Olord here, back again with another video, and today we are having a look at the top 3 Marvel Legends Build-A-Figures of 2015. Everyone knows that the concept of the Build-A-Figure is that's packed-in added bonus that you get whenever you fork over the $20 price tag for a standard Marvel Legends figure. Most of the time they're good, sometimes they're pretty shoddy, but these 3, I believed, were the best ones to come out this year, and I'm just going to talk about them in order the way they came out. I'm not going to pick a favorite. I'm not going to pick who's better than who. I'm just going to say that these were my 3 favorites out of the 6 waves, so that's half. There were 2 movie BAFs and then 4 comic BAFs, so a pretty good chunk of comic characters were released this year. Even though most stores want to purchase due to the popularity of the movies, which is understandable from a financial standpoint. But without further ado, let's get on with top 3 BAFs of this year. Starting off with the earliest of my 3 choices, we're gonna roll things out with the Hobgoblin BAF from spring of this year. Now, I guess you could also say early spring, late winter, but he was mostly released in the spring, and then in the winter we had the Odin wave, which still peg warms to this day, because it sucks. I'm just kidding. But, yes, the Hobgoblin here, this is a cool Hobgoblin. I don't know if I'll get the original one, just solely due to the fact that it's not cheap. This one is pretty cool, and this was my second Infinite Series BAF that I ever finished. Then there was Ultron, and then after him, I believe it was Rhino or Thanos. Rhino or Thanos. I think it was Rhino. But yes, the Hobgoblin being my second BAF I completed felt pretty good. Is it as good as the Ultimate Goblin BAF from last year? I'm not sure. I think they're both equally as awesome. The Ultimate Goblin maybe a little bit more so due to the bulk and the fact that you can get him, excuse me, some pretty gnarly poses. But with that being said, that doesn't mean this is a bad figure. This is a really good figure. I'm going to display him hanging because I got to make some room on my legend shelf because it's getting pretty packed. So with that being said, Hobgoblin definitely one of the best BAFs from this year. The next BAF on this list is the Rhino BAF, released in the summer of this year. The hype for this one was unbelievable. Oh my god, every other person wanted this wave. Is it worth the money? I believe so, and the reason being, it's a pretty solid BAF. Now, granted, it's not Marvel Select, but I think I like this one a little bit more. Why is that? Well, Marvel Select's just as hindered as this. Granted, the knee joint's not as smooth on this guy as it is on Marvel Select, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Well, the Marvel Select's $50 now. This one wasn't. Granted, I had to buy the whole wave, but I wanted to do that. And if you're willing to make a commitment to something, I think it's worth it. Especially if it's got Ghost Rider in it. But that's just a personal preference. Very big one, though. But with that being said, the Rhino BAF not only came with a good wave to boot, it came with interchangeable heads, something I don't believe a BAF has done before. And now the Absorbing Man wave, of all things, has interchangeable arms and heads. So that wave is increased by an extra 2 figures. Or not. I'm not sure. I don't know if they packed the 2 arms in one figure or not. I don't have them yet. I will, because that's a really good looking wave. But yes, the Rhino here is really cool, and how can you say no to that head? Yeah! So, let's move on to the final bath that came out this year, in my opinion, and conclude this video. So the last bath I want to talk about is the behemoth himself, the Hulkbuster. Now, why the Hulkbuster? Why a cinematic figure over a comic figure? Well, the Thanos one is definitely more so in the shadow of the Marvel Select than the Rhino, because the Marvel Select Thanos, I think, will work a lot better in Marvel Legends than the Rhino Marvel Select, mostly because that Rhino Select is huge. This one was kind of in the shadow. Everything's in the shadow of the Marvel Select stuff, and honestly, if you're gonna compare, I think you should leave that out. Now, I'm not saying that's not a bad idea to compare the two, but granted, there's no contest. The Marvel Selects are obviously going to have the better detail and stuff because they only release a few figures a year. Marvel Legends obviously doesn't. They release so dang many of them, it's hard to keep up. But I remember specifically people were comparing this to the Marvel Select Hulkbuster, which you really can't do that because they're two totally different looks. But if I had to pick one, the cheaper route is definitely the Marvel Select. You're getting your money's worth out of that. But again, that one went up in price if you don't have a Disney store. I don't have a Disney store, and the Marvel Selects around here kind of suck. They don't have the best selection, okay? I can't just go in and pick up freaking Carnage when I want to. So I'm just going to make this quick thing. If you can't find the good Marvel Selects, buy the Legends, save $5. It's probably your best bet to getting what you want. That's what I did. If I could find the good Marvel Selects, I would get them. Since I don't, I don't. That's just it. If I found Carnage, heck yeah, I would have bought that stupid thing. That thing would have made my top 2 figures of the year. Granted, I don't think I'm going to do a top 10 figures of the year, but I figured doing this and the Marvel Legends standard figures would have worked. But if you haven't checked that one out already, go check it out. It's more likely than not uploaded by now. But with that being said, I'm just going to end it here and conclude this video. Alrighty, so in the end, I think the Build-A-Figures are more or less a bonus than a reason to pick up the whole wave. Now granted, they kind of are a reason to pick up the whole wave. But when you think about it, if you spend $20 on a figure, you're willing to spend that much on the thing in the first place. The Build-A-Figure's kind of a, oh yeah, that's cool, I can get this guy if I buy all these. Now also, it's a kind of a sneaky way to get people to spend lots of money. But again, it's not a bad financial skill. I mean, when you think about it. But yeah, I think the Build-A-Figures that came out this year, there were 6. I guess if you count Dormammu and that giant 12-inch giant man, you count 8, which is insane. Or Groot as well, that's 9. And that's it. Hulk technically could be, because he is Build-A-Figure size, but he wasn't that great. But the Build-A-Figures, like I said, are kind of an incentive. It's like, if you buy these and they're crap, you'll build this and love it. That's what the Hulkbuster is. Now granted, the value I place on Build-A-Figures will and always be $30 to $40. But the Hulkbuster, that's a little bit different. That one I would price between $50 to $60, solely due to the fact that it is a ginormous figure. It is as big as the Doomsdays I have that are exclusive to Matty Collector. But the other 2 baths, I would price Rhino at $40, Hobgoblin at $30, and leave it there. But like I said, the Build-A-Figures are incentives to get you to buy the whole wave. Now, I think it's also a thing to note, that if you don't like the figures that are being produced, don't buy them. I like what I'm seeing. Obviously, I was able to pick more than 10 figures from my top 10 of the year. That's saying something. They're doing something right, which is a miracle. But, like I said, if you want to be selective, be selective. Buy the figures loose in good shape, and then buy the baths loose. You'll spend less. Like if you wanted just the Daredevil and the 2099 from the Hobgoblin White, buy them loose, complete, obviously. And then, if you want the Hobgoblin, buy him loose. I don't think he's that expensive. He shouldn't be. He's not that ginormous. I just think he's well done. But yeah, I think if anything, if you like the concept of hunting down figures to build a giant figure, then by all means, buy a whole wave. If you don't, be selective. Buy what you like. And then, if you want, try to get the rest of the pieces off. There are plenty of Facebook groups out there, so you don't have to spend the $140 to $160 to get the whole wave. I do because I want the whole wave and I'm a completionist, but that's kind of different. But with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the figures that came out this year. I know I did. For the most part, there were some real stinkers, but that goes without saying. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later.